What's up, guys? Yes, we are about to watch another crazy story. It's from the YouTube channel called Storytime Animated. Links are all down below. Go check her out. Watch all her videos. She's awesome. But this one is called My Mom Has a Secret Relationship with My Best Friend. And that sounds crazy. So, again, please subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Links are all down below, and like and share the video. And let's go.
As soon as I opened our front door, the smell of freshly baked bread and cinnamon filled my nostrils. I kicked off my shoes and ran to the kitchen, still soaked from the rain that poured on me while biking home. My mom was brushing the powdered sugar off her hands on her apron, and a loaf of bread was cooling on a rack next to a slightly opened window. "Hi, honey, how was school?" my mom asked me, pushing some of the hair on my forehead back and planting a kiss on my forehead. "Mom," I said, annoyed that she still did that as if I were a kid. "What did you bake?" I asked as she grabbed a plate and a knife to slice the bread. "It's a regular loaf of bread, but I made a cinnamon swirl that I hope shows in every slice. I wanted to try it out before adding it to the menu," she said as she made a few slices.
"I'll eat it."
The swirl showing perfectly in each one. Moments like these were when I marveled at our home. Although outside it was dark, stormy, and pouring rain, the yellow lighting of
I don't know about y'all, but I love when it's stormy outside. I love when it's dark and gloomy and it's raining and there's thunder and wind. I love it.
our kitchen. The warmth and the smell of cinnamon made me close my eyes and enjoy the moment. We sat at the kitchen island with our slices of bread and drinks. I dipped my bread in hot cocoa and snickered at my mom muttering something about me ruining her masterpiece. "What's wrong, honey? You look worried," she asked when I was suddenly deep in thought. Earlier that day, our history teacher told me that if I didn't ace the following tests, I was going to fail his class. "It's school stuff. You wouldn't understand," I sighed. "Boy, I had you when I was a high school junior. You don't think I'll understand trouble at school?" She chuckled at me. I explained to her that I was failing history and that my teacher wasn't lenient at all, and that I could fail the year if I did bad and struggled despite putting in extra work. "Well, there's a parent-teacher meeting soon. I could go talk to him," she said, immediately making me feel better. If anyone could convince my teacher of going easy on me, it was my mom. Most persuasive person in the world. The day of the parent-teacher meeting came, and I stopped by my mom's bakery to ask her if she was still going. The familiar bell rang as I opened the door. Julie, a girl who worked for my mom, was at the cash register. "Hey, Jules," I greeted her when I came in. She gave me a small wave as she handed a customer her change. "Busy day?" I asked. "The morning had me spinning. Your mom's cinnamon swirl thing was a huge success, and now people are getting food to bribe teachers at the school later." "Where's Mom?"
Whose teacher can you bribe with food? That would be me as a teacher. Like, if you want good grades, just bring me a cinnamon roll every day. I'll get fat and I'll give you an A.
"Baking her bribe in the back," she said, turning back to count some money in the cash register. I walked past her and into the kitchen where Mom was putting a batch of cookies in the oven. "Are those?" I began, but they were. My favorite marshmallow brownie cookies. Mom was wearing a pair of jeans and a red blouse. I noticed she had curled her hair a bit and put on heels instead of her usual sneakers. She looked much more like a mom
Why are you checking
now
out your
than
mom
she
like
did
that?
usually, but she looked like the kind of mom that distracts your friends. We talked in the kitchen for a while.
Who
until
says
the
that?
oven beeped. The cookies were placed in a basket, and Mom made her way towards the school. I was watching a movie in the living room and eating popcorn when Mom finally got home. Hours had passed since the time the meeting should have ended, and I was beginning to worry. She kicked off her heels immediately, sighing in relief, and she stumbled towards the couch, plopping down next to me. She told me the meeting went well and that they went out for drinks afterwards. She asked him to help me out a bit, and he agreed.
Oh, that's how she convincing him. Okay, sis.
To my relief. "He also told me you're pretty distracted with Adrian," she said. "I know he's failing too, and I know how close you two are, so I asked Mr. Harrison to help him out too." I immediately texted my best friend to tell him the good news, and he was thrilled. At school, Mr. Harrison was suddenly nicer to me. He smiled at me in the halls, complimented me, and went easy on me when grading my tests. I also caught him smirking in my direction sometimes, but I ignored it. My best friend Adrian was also being treated better by Mr. Harrison. Mom was suddenly swatting my hand away when I reached for an extra muffin and stuff like that, saying they were for Bruce. She started properly dating Mr. Harrison.
Girl, look at Bruce. I don't think he needs any more cupcakes. Give them to me.
Sometimes I'd come home from Adrian's and I'd finish them watching a movie on the couch,
Ew.
all cuddled up. It upset me a lot. But I realized my father was never in the picture and Mom hadn't had a boyfriend since high school. Plus, she seemed happy, so I got over it.
That's mature
One
of
night,
you.
she told me she was going on a date with Bruce. So I asked Adrian to come over for a sleepover. We played video games in the living room for hours until we popped in a movie and I fell asleep in the middle of it. I woke up around 2 in the morning and didn't see Adrian, but I noticed the kitchen light was on. I rubbed my eyes and started walking towards it, but I heard voices. It was my mom and Adrian. I started eavesdropping. I just wanted to thank you for talking to Mr. Harrison for me, Adrian said, but in a weird way. I knew this voice he was making. It was the voice he used when he was flirting with girls. It was no problem, Adrian. You're Jackson's best friend, my mom said, in a totally normal voice. It was clear that my best friend was flirting with my mom, but
Say
she
something.
wasn't flirting back. But seriously, thank you, he repeated, and I could hear him moving. And as I said, my mom began, it's no problem at all. Now she sounded different. I recognized this too. She talked to Mr. Harrison like this. I couldn't stand it, so I peeked around the corner and into the kitchen. My mom had her back pressed against the kitchen island, and Adrian was sort of cornering her against it. Mom's hand was on his chest, and since he was a tall guy, she was looking up at him. I noticed Adrian was starting to dip his head down, so I quickly walked into the kitchen. I saw them jump apart, but rubbed my eyes to make it seem like I didn't. Hey guys, what are you doing up? I asked in a fake, groggy voice. Nothing, bud. Just came for some water. Adrian jumped to get a cup and filled it with water, after which he pushed me out of the kitchen and we went back to sleep on the couch. I really didn't feel like talking to him about what I saw, but as he snored next to me, I laid awake, staring at the ceiling.
Watching him.
I usually hung out with Adrian at his house because it was nicer, but suddenly we were always at mine. He kept making up excuses for us to go to mine instead of his. And I had a sneaking suspicion that it was because he wanted to see my mom. Every time we were at home, I caught him staring at her, and he was trying to find ways to touch her, like passing her a plate and lingering his fingers, or
Ew.
walking past her and putting his hand on her back.
That's
I
weird.
thought it was gross, but I felt that if I brought it up, it would only become more real. One day, I was biking home from the store after Mom sent me to get some baking supplies, and when I came back, I found Adrian mowing the lawn, and he wasn't wearing a shirt.
Ew.
I was so pissed off. I was about to jump him, but then my mom came out of the house and handed him his shirt. I spilled orange juice on it, and your mom offered to rinse it out so I wouldn't get all sticky, he explained, laughing at the image without context. Not only was Adrian always in my house with Mom, but they started baking together. And soon enough, Adrian was working at the bakery with her after school. I asked him about it, and he said it was weird, but he just replied, I'm saving up for a new laptop, and your mom offered me the job to help me save up. I hated how he had a logical explanation for everything. Things started hanging. Mom was paying more attention to my friend than to me, and it was
Aw.
really getting on my nerves. Not only that, but school was starting to get bad again. We had a history test, and I was expecting the low B that was my average. But when I saw my marked test, I had a huge F. I glanced over to Adrian. He had a B. I didn't understand why I got such a low grade, so I stayed behind after class to talk to Mr. Harrison.
The heck,
How
Mom?
did I get an F when my mom told you to help me? I asked him before he shushed me and rushed to close the door. Do you have any idea the trouble we'd be in if anyone found out? He said in his exasperated manner. He answered my question by saying my mom had told him at dinner a few days ago to go harder on me again, and instead go easier on Adrian.
What the heck, Mom? You're supposed to be flirting it up with Mr. Harris, whatever his name is. Like, after everything she's doing, like flirting with his best friend, why are you telling him to fail me? Like, that's just mean and unnecessary.
I was so confused. Was Mom picking him over me?
Yeah.
I was furious, so I stormed out of the classroom and grabbed my bike. I biked a few blocks until I reached my mom's bakery, where I knew she would be. I was ready to confront her about her thing with Adrian as I burst through the door, but the front of the store was empty. I figured she must be in the kitchen, so I stalked to the back and swung the door open, only to find my mom kissing my best friend. My mom gasped when she saw me and pushed Adrian off of her, rushing towards me, but I slammed the
Nasty.
door before she could get
You was nasty. You a nasty woman.
to it and sped home as fast as I could. I avoided my mom and Adrian for weeks after I caught them. I snuck out of the house before Mom woke up and came back very late, or when I knew she wasn't home. I avoided Adrian like the plague at school. not even bothering to hide it. I was trying to come up with a way to get back at them, or at least get them to stop,
What's going on with
because
your
as
face?
far as I knew, they were still making out when I wasn't looking. My history grade started to go up, so I guess I got that out of it, but it wasn't enough. I was packing up my stuff after history one day when Mr. Harrison asked me to stay behind because he wanted to talk. He sat on his desk, fidgeting nervously as I waited for him to just spit it out. Then he finally did. He wanted to ask my mom to marry him, but didn't know how to do it. Is there anything she finds romantic? Something special? He looked
Yeah,
nervous.
little
and excited.
boys.
I felt kind of bad for the guy. At that moment, I felt like a light bulb popped up above my head.
What you gonna
and
do?
I had a plan. As soon as I got home, I started working on it. 2 days later, Mr. Harrison went to order a very special cake, my mom's favorite, on the bakery's website. When he went to the other tab to pay for it, the bakery's new logo popped up. It read, "Nothing better than a cake and a kiss with your son's best friend." Not only did my mom get dumped, but Adrian failed history, which led to him failing the year. Serves them right.
Dang, kid, that is savage. Your mom gonna get arrested. Wow, that's crazy. Comment below if you agree, like, what he did was pretty awesome. But anyways, that is it. Hope you liked it. Again, please subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Links are all down below. And please like and share the video. And comment below if you want to see some more animated story times. And I will see you weird people next time.